All right, welcome back to another segment, another episode of The Mind Behind the Curtain.
Yes.
This is part 2 with Andy Cañete.
It's part 2.
Part 2.
And we walked in again.
Part 2 and we walked in again.
Yeah.
We just, you know what, we take a break between parts. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. We had a nap.
Not together though. Yeah. Like I was there, he was over here.
It was fine. We could have been together.
Hey, we'll just say that there was no napping. It was just a little break.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so man, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah. After our nap, if we didn't nap.
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about your film experience, man.
Oh, my film experience.
Yeah. We can start talking about how you got into comedy and then your comedy career, how it evolved, and then how that was kind of blended into your film industry or film career. Sorry,
I went to film school. I started acting.
Right on.
And when I was in film school, there was a friend of mine. Well, there was a classmate of mine. His name was Sully, and Sully kept on talking about how he wanted to do stand-up. Mm-hmm. And every time he brought it up, people would look at me and be like, "You should do stand-up." And I always felt bad for Sully because he was always looking for like people to say that he should do stand-up. Mm-hmm. And every time he brought it up, they would look at Sully and be like, "You know what? You would be really good, Andy." And I was like, Sully was talking about doing stand-up.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was where I got the idea. And then I started doing stand-up and I branched into acting. And I actually was acting before stand-up, but I wasn't booking anything until I did stand-up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You also mentioned to me once that doing stand-up was kind of like liberating, man.
Yes.
Like it you conquered a fear.
Yeah.
And it gave you more of an edge in terms of going into the auditioning room. And I always took that advice, and that's why I decided to do that Cinco de Mayo with you that time. Yeah, because I was like, let me see what this is all about. And it is. Yeah. Once you get in front of that crowd and you're up on the stage, and you face that fear.
It's like people's biggest fear.
Oh yeah,
it's like
it's one of the most common ones.
No, it's not only that. It's like people are more afraid of that than death.
Whoa.
No, it's true. Like public speaking is number 1, death is 2.
Right.
So, and to do it like in a stand-up format is even more like it's not like some kind of like business thing where you have to read off a piece of paper or something. It's like
it's your life. It's your own material. Yeah. It's like your own experience.
And you got to make people laugh. Yeah. And if you're bombing and you got 10 minutes left and
And that brings up a question. Have you ever had a bombing experience?
Oh, every comic has.
Every comic has.
Everyone.
Yeah.
There's no comic that says with a straight face.
Right. I've never bombed.
It's just not true.
Yeah.
The worst. My first bomb, and it's actually probably my worst bomb. I was at Yuck Yucks downtown, and it was actually the second time I ever did stand up because the first time I did stand up I actually did really well. Mm-hmm. And the second time that I actually got cocky off that first one. I thought I'm amazing because I'd done it one time.
Well, it definitely feeds your ego. And not only that, but it makes you feel good that you've made a lot of people happy and laugh about your stuff, man.
And I only had first time, and everybody tells me how tough it is, and I go out and I kill. So that second one, I was like, I'm obviously, born to do this. I'm a natural. Right? And I wrote new jokes, and they all bombed bad, like really bad.
So you didn't stick with the material that I actually...
No, not that first one. No. I did new jokes because that was old material now.
Right.
I did that last time, and I'm so good at this that I'll do this other thing.
Yeah.
And I did a bunch of jokes, and they bombed, and people started to boo. Oh, and then
bad?
No, it got worse.
Oh my god.
And then these two ladies in the back started to yell, "Shower, shower." Now you're old enough to know.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard a few times here and there.
For those who don't know, when you went back in the day in the strip club, they used to have showers on the stage.
Yeah.
And if you liked the stripper, you would yell "shower," and the poor stripper would have to get into the shower and shower in front of everybody.
Of course, little tub in there.
So these two ladies are yelling that I should shower. Even though there's no shower on the stage, they were saying I should shower.
Yeah, you bombed with your jokes. Let's see your body.
Yeah, shower. And I guess these.
Oh, COVID. COVID. Cover your mouth every time you sneeze, just like he did.
Wow. Anyways, I was so nervous and I was bombing so bad that my only response was, "You should shower."
To these little ladies.
And it took me a while to get back on stage after that. I took like a good 6-month break, I think, after that one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
So was it like you're like getting back the second or getting back after that?
Yeah,
that experience. Was it like almost like your first time again? You had to conquer the fear again.
It was because when you bomb that bad.
Yeah.
That I heard Jim Carrey went through something like that too, where he bombed horrifically and he took years off.
Right.
I only took like 6 months off.
Yeah.
But he was like a kid. He was like 13, 14, or 15 or something like that. And he bombed horrifically.
Yeah.
And it took him like 3 years to get back.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time.
But it was bad.
But it was bad.
But it was one of those things like I survived it.
Yeah. And so he did too. And after that, he just killed it.
So once you survived that, because it really couldn't get worse than that.
Right.
But probably could.
Well, that's the thing. Same thing about life, man. You gotta experience the worst of something in order to appreciate the best of something.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Well, if you survive it, like really stuff,
it makes you stronger.
It's like cliche. Sure. It's so cliche, but
it is cliche, man.
It's true. I survived that. So when I would do auditions after that, it was like.
Yeah. What's one of the most funniest auditions that you've had here in Vancouver?
I had one where I was at an audition and it was like one of those ones where it was like tons of people and a lot of these auditions they make you talk, they ask you about like, tell me about yourself because they don't have anything else to do.
Right.
So I was in a bad mood and I have not the best attitude when it comes to these kind of auditions. So I started making up stuff. I was like, I'm into bullfights and I like playing Dungeons and Dragons. I just made up a bunch of stuff, and I had a little girl beside me.
Yeah,
she was going to play my daughter in the thing, and she's really shy, and she was kind of like, and they asked her, they go, "What do you do?" And she goes, "I like going to the zoo," and they were like, "Well, what's your favorite animal?" And she goes, and I kind of gave her a little pat, like it's okay, answer kind of thing. Oh, somebody's texting me. And and she kind of looks up at me and she goes, "I gotta pee." Oh! And right at that moment, she just
no,
dude, it was like a fire hydrant.
No.
It was just like a little circle, like just
during the audition.
No. And it's so much that it left a little like circle of pee around her, right?
Oh no.
And I've never had a kid, and I'm an uncle, but I got no kids, so I did not hide my I jumped out of the way and just looked at her in horror, right? And she sees my face and she starts to cry because she's embarrassed that she just peed herself.
Right.
And so, like the guy that was doing the commercial, he got up and he took the little girl outside, like, it's okay. And he took her to her mom. And the mom's waiting outside and she has pee on her leg and it's just dripping. And she leaves this puddle of piss on the carpet.
It was the carpet.
It was a roll-up carpet, too.
Oh, okay.
So the guy looks at me and he goes, "Hey, can you help me take it out?"
As long as I get the part.
I didn't get the part.
You didn't get the part?
I didn't get the part. I think this is revenge for me saying that I'm into bullfights.
Right.
And Dungeons and Dragons and whatever I said. But I had to roll up and and through a crowd of people that were all waiting. I'm carrying this rug full of piss. That was good.
That's crazy, man.
That was What's yours, man?
My craziest audition was for a voice audition, man.
Yeah.
And what happened was that I got called in to do a spot for a commercial that was supposed to be played in the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I came in and they asked me that they wanted me to sound really Mexican. Right? They're like, "Alex, we want you to sound really Mexican," right? And I was like, okay. Sure. He's like how Mexican? And they're like, "Straight off the boat." And I'm like, "Straight off the boat?"
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I went in there and I'm like, and I went in there. And I was like, okay, well, I gotta do my more like my harshest Mexican accent, right? Like, "Órale, señor. Okay, I got the chips. Okay," doing that kind of voice.
Right.
And so I did it, and they liked it, but they were like, the producer was there, and he's like, "Can you sound more like retarded.
Oh my god!
So now I had to sound like a Mexican fresh off the boat and retarded. Like I'm like, am I hitting all the wrong things here? Like this is not only racist, but
was it Weinstein that was doing this thing?
Like, Jesus! And it was around the time of when Hollywood was weird, man. And so I was like, how am I gonna put this together?
Wow,
right?
That's quite the comment.
So I immediately thought, Fez. From the 70s shows.
Fez.
Yeah, Fez. Well, I was like, Fez, Will Valderrama.
I wouldn't say he sounds...
Like, with the lift, If I got this, okay? Something like that. Yeah. So anyway, I did the voice. They loved it. They all laughed. They got me to do it 3 times, the take, and didn't get it.
Right.
Didn't get the part. Right. At the end of the day, I saw the commercial on TV, and the voice was the voice of this other Latino actor. And
Vancouver actor?
No, he's like a very well-known actor in the States, man. And he had a very sophisticated voice, and it was about it had to do with tacos, bro.
Of course.
And it was like, and then you put the tacos right on the table, and it's time to feast. It was that kind of like strong voice, and it had nothing to do with fresh off the boat, nothing, man. Yeah. And I was like,
I could have done that.
Yeah, I could have done that.
I actually got a part last year where this is funny. I showed up. Okay, so you ever had those, like, when they send you the sides and it's like 1 page and then turns out there's more pages?
Yeah.
So it was a Hallmark.
Yeah. So you just thought it was 1 page?
I thought it was the 1 page. So I showed up at the Hallmark and I never have that many lines. It's usually like a couple lines. Yeah. So I do the 2 lines and the lady just keeps reading. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of like looking at her like,
there's more?
There's more to this guy? So I kind of looked at it. I was like, I'm sorry, I only got the 1 page.
Right.
And they're all kind of like, oh, we sent you. And I kind of was like, and I bring up my phone, I look, and sure enough, I scroll down and there's more pages. So man. No joke, I kind of look at it quickly and I kind of get the gist. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, let's do this, right?
Right.
And we do it again. Yeah. And I don't know how I did it, but I nailed the lines perfectly. Nice. Even though it was like I got the gist, turns out I actually said it word for word.
Whoa!
So
and you just quickly glanced at it.
Literally, like 10 seconds. I'm like, all right, I got the gist. Let's go.
Right.
And the guy was so impressed with that I got the part.
Nice, good job, man. That's awesome. Well, that's
so
the thing.
I come in unprepared.
Totally.
And he was like, wow, that's really impressive. Yeah. And that's how.
Yeah, it's funny because in the beginning of my career, acting career with the auditions, man. Like it came to a point where I was just like not landing anything, man. And I was just like, 20, 25 auditions, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. So
not even getting callbacks.
Yeah, not even getting. Well, yeah, maybe I got like a few callbacks, but still, like you get callbacks, and then you think you got it, then they put you on hold, and then no, we changed direction, whatever. So I was very disappointed, man. And then I was like, man. Next audition that I go in, I'm just gonna go in there and not give a fuck. I'm just gonna say whatever, right? So sure enough, I get an audition and I go in and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. Just throwing my license out. Just like doing them like that. Okay, thanks, bye, choom, left. Got the part.
Right.
I get the part. So I'm like, what is this?
What's even weird is
like
when you get 1 part, you get like 3.
It sometimes it happens like that.
Like you get like 3 in a row all of a sudden.
It's almost like you become like the hot item.
And all of a sudden so it took me years, and then I just got 3 in 2 months, something stupid. Like I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Well, just before this whole COVID thing, I was getting upgrades left, right, and center, man. And it was just
I never get upgrades.
Yeah, and and that's the thing that happens in the States a lot. That's what I hear, that they give away all these like upgrades, and that's what I experienced in this last year, like working in film. That a lot of people were getting upgrades, like from actor stunts to like just actors, or even just grabbing people off and putting them in stand-in, or non-union actors or non-union performers, making them union, but most of the upgrades came from productions that are like nice to work with. Right. And I don't know if you have different experiences, but like obviously you do, like, where you go to a production or you go to a film set and you feel the energy, man, and the energy is just like, it's bad.
Yeah, Arrow. Remember Arrow?
Arrow was a bad one, man.
Arrow was bad.
Arrow was so many people were intense,
like somber.
Yeah,
like you walk in and people are just like.
Yeah,
like just
like they don't
sad.
They're hiding something.
Yeah, it's just like it's like some kind of like cult. Everybody's like they saw something but they can't talk about it or something like that. It was so sad.
And then you go to other productions where everybody's friendly, you know? And everybody's nice and
How hard is that?
Yeah, and it should be like that.
You know, like how hard is that?
No, it's not hard. It's not hard, man.
Like I worked on The Flash. I stood on The Flash for a few months.
Yeah.
And to this day, like if I run into those guys, they hug me.
Right.
And I was only there for 6 months.
The production on Flash was
me and Carlos. He's like my buddy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Carlos is a sweetheart.
Yeah, total sweetheart.
Super nice guy.
Like he was. Yeah. Like
and that's the thing. You bump into some of these ADs. Like like I one AD that lives in this building who is my neighbor. She's amazing. And I see how hard they work, man.
Yeah.
They work hard. And not only do they work hard, but then they have to deal with all these types of personalities. Mm-hmm. They deal with directors, and they have to deal with actors, then they got to deal with the background people. Yeah. Sometimes they go out of their way and they have to deal with other things, other aspects of production. But it's an exhausting job, man.
Oh, for sure.
It's an exhausting job. I had an experience, and let's switch direction in terms of
before
crafty.
Carlos is an actor on The Flash.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about Carlos the AD.
No, Carlos the actor.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So there's some actors that are amazing too.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Okay. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, we forgot to explain.
Right. So in terms of crafty people, have you ever dealt with any like weird crafty people?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's almost like racism. No, it's true because like when they find out your background. It's almost like
Are you union? Are you not?
Yeah. That kind of like get away from me kind of.
That's
thing.
Right. That's right.
And I'm just like, what?
I had in the beginning in when I started doing background, I was working on a set for Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Right. So it was huge production, and that's the other thing too. When some of these people work in these productions, their egos just go off the roof. Right. Yeah. Like they're just like, wow, I'm working with like huge name actors, and such a prestigious thing. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I was at the time I was a non-union background performer.
Yes.
And so. I ended up at the wrong crafty, right?
You went to the union crafty.
I went to the union crafty. And I didn't see the signs. I didn't bother reading. Yes. I just saw the food. I was hungry, and I went straight to the food. I grabbed an apple.
Right.
And I bit into it, man. Yes. Right? And as I'm walking out, there's a locations guy there. Yeah. And he's just looking at me just the way you are right now, crossed arms and everything.
Pissed.
And he was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm eating an apple. And he's like, put that back.
Put that back? I already bit into it, man.
I bit into it, right? Like, I can't put it back. And he's like, well, you got to put it back. And I'm like, I bit into it, man. I can't put it back.
Okay, let me ask you something.
You know what I mean?
Man. Did you really know that was a union or a non-union thing?
To be honest with you, I didn't know.
No,
I had no idea.
You knew, and you were like, fuck it, I'm going to buy it.
Later on in my career, there were times when I said, fuck it, I'm hungry, I'm going into the union.
I'm going to act like I didn't hear
like I didn't know, and I'll be like, you want to look at my union card?
You're going to bring out the accent.
Yeah, why not?
No hablo inglés.
I'll throw some Tony Montana, you fucking kidding me, man? I am fucking union, man.
Yeah.
So then the guy's like, he goes, no, bro, no, I'm not putting it back. I'm walking out of this tent, and I'm going to go eat my apple over there at Holding. Thank you very much. So as I'm walking by, and he grabs me, he's like, throw it in the garbage. And I'm like, listen, why should I throw it in the garbage? Yeah. He went and he explained. He goes, well, this is not your crafty. This is union crafty. You have your non-union over there. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I didn't realize that. Is it okay if I finish the apple anyway? Okay, now I know. I didn't know. I'm sorry. And I didn't know. Genuinely, I didn't know. So then he's like, no, throw it in the garbage.
Okay, this guy's just an asshole. Okay.
So I realized he was an asshole. So I turned around and I kept walking. He's like, hey, you're not listening to me? And I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to you. I turned around. I'm like, I'm listening to you. You want this apple? You really want this apple? Man, I chucked it at the guy.
Really?
I threw it at him.
Well, that's not good.
It hit his chest. Oh. He had like one of those reflector vests on. The locations people. The thing just went splashing. And I'm just like...
That's awesome.
Just do that.
But you got fired. You must have gotten fired.
No. He just stood there and then he just grabbed his broom and his thing and he started picking it up. And I'm like, wow. I felt horrible, man.
No, yeah.
But at the time, I was like, yeah. This guy was being an idiot. He deserved that.
Yeah.
And then I thought, fuck, I'm gonna get fired.
Yeah.
Didn't get fired.
You know what's funny? It's like
didn't get fired. Thank God I didn't get fired.
I look at my.
But now I know. Now I don't do that anymore. I avoid the conflicts on set. I don't do it anymore.
I look back at my younger years. I was way meaner.
Yeah.
like way
yeah,
meaner.
For sure. Yeah.
Like, but now it's like, no, I try my. Well, not that I can't be mean. It's there, but it's like buried.
Right.
I try. I don't like accessing it, but when I was younger, one time on set, and this is a mean story, but I'll tell it anyway.
Yeah.
It was that show, She's All That. Remember that?
Okay. Yeah, I remember that show. Yeah,
UBC. Where's that? UBC.
Yeah.
And I was playing a college student, even though I was like 30 something, right? And there's a big group of people because we're in a crowd scene, right? So we're in a tent. It was like 4-day continuity, and so people brought like soccer balls, and like there was people of all ethnicities. There was Asian people, Black people, Latin people.
Yeah.
And there was this girl that was a brat, like a total brat, and I was hanging out with the black guys. And they brought music. They brought like a boombox, and she was like yelling, like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have to hear all your music and all this stuff." And I was like, "Oh God." So, anyways, I was playing cards one day, and with a group of friends, and she walks in, and she's like at a table behind our table, and I'm sitting there playing cards, and all of a sudden she like pokes me on the shoulder, and she goes, "You got my seat? You took my chair?" And I was like, "No,
the famous chair thing."
Yeah. Like, "Do you take my chair?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't take your chair."
Right.
Keep playing. She goes, "I think you took my chair." I'm like, I didn't take your chair.
Yeah. I don't see your name on it.
Well, no, yeah. Like it's like it was at this. I did not grab her chair.
No.
So she keeps on. She goes, "I think you took my." She goes, "Get up." This girl's like 21, by the way. I'm like 30 something. So I'm like, I was like, "What?" And she goes, "Get up. I think you took my chair."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Tell you what. I didn't take your chair, but if I did, I still wouldn't get up, because you're very rude."
Yeah, you're being really rude.
And she goes, "Oh, you fucking asshole, what's your problem?" Okay, I'm like,
whoa.
This is it now. And this is a girl that's been bratty, and I can't stand brats, right? So I'm like bratty. So this girl, she was wearing like a tank top.
Yeah.
And she had a little bit of the muffin hanging on the side, right? So I was non-union at the time, so I had like it was like a lunch, but a bag lunch, but it had like like a juice box, a sandwich, and cookies.
Yeah, the typical lunch bag, which we might be going back to.
Oh, don't. So I grabbed the cookies, and I tossed it to their table, and I was like, "Eat another cookie, and shut the fuck up."
Whoa, no, yeah, feed those love handles.
Yes.
Oh no!
And my table erupts, like just like that's like the best thing ever, right?
Yeah.
And this girl gets so mad, like she's just like, "Oh, you fucking asshole!" And I'm like, "I can't hear you. I don't hear like chubby people. I'm sorry." This is me.
That's terrible.
This is me, right? But really like mean. This is something that she brought it. She brought it out of me. She brought it on to her. She brought it out of me. So I just like I can't hear. And now it's like I know I'm being mean. But the fact that I'm hurting her makes up for it.
Right.
And I know I'm being mean. But I'm just like, I know she's getting mad. It's just what I want. And I'm like, can't hear you. Sorry, I can't hear chubby people. And she goes, "Why don't you go back to your own country?"
Oh, no. Talking about racism.
Yes.
Previous
episode. Yeah. Oh. Why don't you go back to your own country? Yeah. And it's funny because it was a big tent. And you ever see those TV shows, those movies where like, somebody walks in that's like doesn't belong there, and there's like the record like and everybody's quiet. It was like that.
You hear the crickets.
And it was like everyone was quiet. Right. And I just laughed because like everyone in there was like from like there were Asian people, there were Black people, there were Latino people, and I just started to laugh, and I was like, "You're so screwed." And it was 4-day continuity. So it was like she had 3 days left.
Oh my God.
And I just was like, "Oh, you're just so screwed." Right. And sure enough, and it was funny because like I was working, and over the next couple of days, people would come up to me and be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "I thought you were supposed to go back to your own country." And I was like, "Oh, you heard that?" He was like, "I heard that on the other side of the tent, actually." And I was just like, "Oh man, like yeah, like." But yeah, like I would not do that now. Yeah, is the point.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, obviously, you want to avoid conflict.
No, it's just mean.
It's just and you don't want to be mean. You don't want to say anything wrong.
That's something that she could like have a eating disorder after that comment, and like
you just don't want to
like throw up for like months or something stupid, and all because I took it there.
All right, we're gonna close up this episode with being happy people, honest people. Don't be mean, and try to avoid chubbiness. All right, Andy Cañete, Alex Rockhill, we're out. We'll see you on part 3.
Part 3.